Hey everybody, it's Craig from TC-Helicon. Really happy to be able to give you guys the beta for VoiceLive 3. The looper improvements have just been absolutely massive, and we're totally convinced that it's going to make a huge difference to all of your performances. So really pumped about that. And I just want to say thanks so much for bearing with us. I know it's been a lot longer than you kind of hoped it would be. Essentially, as I said in the actual text of this post, we've incremented something like 50 builds internally to make sure that we get this thing right for you guys. We could have given you builds earlier that we knew crashed or something, but that would be kind of silly. We didn't want you to put you in that position of sort of testing on that kind of level. We really want to get you out there using this thing, getting used to it, and really showing how much of an improvement it can be. I wanted to do the video to kind of go over a few of the things that might need a little bit of a UI explanation with the actual box itself here, because you'll notice there's been a couple of features that have been added, and I just wanted to show you sort of what they look like in the unit so that you can go through and play with them. Sometimes it's a bit harder to describe in text, so I figure I'll just chuck you a little video and we'll go from there. You'll have to pardon me, moving my unit in and out of the screen here with the camera and all that. I'm just doing this into a webcam in my office. So off we go. We had some UI improvements, some additions. So I did mention the one thing that if you're on a preset that has a set key and scale, that it will show the key and scale on the main screen. So let's just show you that. So I've got a preset. Here we go. You'll see it in a sec. There we go. It's on C major 2. So there you go. You can see that C major 2 is there. Now, obviously, it's a little small when you're standing up, but at the very least, the positioning of it will let you know that this is a set key and scale preset, which is kind of cool. The other thing that I think the big one that people are going to really like, especially since this is related to the looping, is that when you're in the looper now, it tells you the loop input and the mode. So let's go again over to our screen, and you'll see, there we go, that down at the bottom there, you'll see smart and guitar. So that's smart mode, obviously, for the quantize, and the guitar is the current input. So that's really neat. Speaking of loop inputs, obviously, we added the ability to change your loop input via the step button or via switch 3. And the way we've implemented it is that it's a cyclic behavior. So we've given you 3 different options. One of those options can be nothing, which then allows a toggle. So we figured that covers as many options as we sort of reasonably want to be able to use in a live situation. So the way that you set it up is you go into the button map tab. I'm going to use the step button as the example here. So we'll go over here and we'll get you up. You can see in the button map tab there, I've got it set to step. So I'm going to go all the way to the very end of the menu. Just roll it all the way to the end. And now you'll see I have loop input cycle, and that's my selection. Now if I scroll all the way to the bottom, I'll try and do this without moving away. There we go. Now I've got my loop input cycle, and you'll see loop input cycle 1, cycle 2, and cycle 3. Essentially, that means when I press the button, it's going to increment from one cycle to the next. So when it comes to this, we're going to start with vocal, and then I press the button, it would go to guitar. Now I've got nothing assigned to 3, so this actually creates a swap back and forth. So it would go vocal, guitar, vocal, guitar. If I add something to the third one, hold on, hopefully I can do this by reaching over the unit here. Can I find something there? Hold on, give me a sec, I'll do it. Cycle 3. There we go. Okay. So let's go, we'll set it like this. There. So now, if I've added cycle 3 into the equation, doing this backwards on the camera is really fun, by the way. If I add cycle 3, now when I press the button, it's going to go from vocal, right, to aux, to vocal and guitar. And it will cycle continuously through those 3 options. So the reason we gave you that sort of dash, the nothing in cycle 3 was that we felt as though it's pretty common that you might just want to go, use my guitar right now. Now switch, okay, now use the vocal, or use guitar and vocal and then just guitar, or any of those kind of combinations. Each one of the different cycles has the ability to select any of the loop input options that are available in the input screen that's available in the looper itself. So that's pretty cool. Trying to think of other things. Oh, we reduced the timeout a little bit of the mix page. So if you've gone into the mix screen, I think it used to be 10 seconds or something like that, and now we've reduced it to somewhere around 6 seconds. You'll also notice that the waveforms in the looper are a little bit bigger than they've been before, and when I play back the looper, you can see that the playhead is also larger. So it's just a little easier to see from a standing position. One of the other things that we've done, and this is one that's definitely easier to show you than to explain. I did a little thing that said, "Hey, in English, please," is the center detent thing that we've done. So if you've got a parameter that allows you to go equal numbers in each direction. So panning is a very good example. You know, it goes like all the way right or goes all the way left or has a middle position. What we found is if you were trying to get back to center, you'd start spinning the knob and then it would go past center. You know, it'd go to from 25 right to like 7 left. And you'd be like, oh, I need to have to go back. So we made it so that if you're just kind of winging the knob all the way across, it will actually stop at center very sort of briefly, but you can kind of get a sense of how it works by trying it. It's a lot easier to land on that center position. So I'll show you here just with one of these mix knobs. Try not to drop the unit on the ground. Try to reach under and show you. Okay, there we go. So as I go all the way this way, now I start spinning the knob right, and you'll see that it hangs up on center there for a second, then keeps going. So you can kind of go spin, 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 and it ends up on center, and then you can keep going the other direction. It's a bit more of a feel thing. You'll have to try it and get a sense of what it does, but it definitely is an improvement over the way that it was working before. That's pretty much it in terms of the UI type stuff. There's a huge list, of course, in the bugs and the features and the fixes and updates and all that kind of stuff. The last thing I'm going to say is obviously this is our COA, statement. This is a beta, so think twice about whether or not you're going to put the beta on there and just take it to a gig without trying everything out. We think it's really solid and you're not going to run into any problems. But this is where we're now going from testing internally with a few of us in the office to our internal testers, which is like 3 or 4 or 5 people, to now potentially a couple of hundred of you. So some things could pop up, and this is exactly why we're doing this procedure and letting it out to a larger expanded group, but not necessarily putting this on voice support and telling everybody, hey, this is the software you should use, because we may still need to make a couple of adjustments. So really, really pumped that you guys can get this. Thanks for hanging in there again. We totally appreciate it. We've been busting our butts to get this out there and to really kick ass for you. So I'd love to hear your comments back in the forum thread. That's where we're going to be dealing with any of this. If you've got a problem, definitely don't contact the support guys, because it's sort of not their gig to have to deal with beta software. This is something that I've kind of put out there and said, hey, we should beta publicly. So this is something that we'll deal with here on the forums, and I'm looking forward to hearing everything back from you guys. All right, take care.